AviationPros.com is the portal website for AMT, Airport Business, and Ground Support Worldwide magazines. Visit daily for breaking news, industry blogs, and insightful articles from our magazine's editorial team. And don't forget to sign up for our publication's daily e-newsletters. It's all at AviationPros.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Aviation Pros podcast. I'm Walker Jaroch, editor of AMT Magazine, and I'm joined in this show by Damien Marc, president of JPB System. We discuss JPB's history, how Damien married his IT background with aviation to great success, and some of the new ventures JPB is currently undertaking. Enjoy.
Could you tell our audience just a little bit about yourself and JPB System?
Yes, Walker. So I'm Damien Marc. I'm the CEO of JPB System. This is a pretty young company in the aerospace industry. I took it from my father after he passed away pretty brutally in 2006. And I succeeded to bought the company because he was not the only owner of this company in 2009. That was the very beginning of my own adventure. June 2009. So at this time, we were 3 persons in the company that was very small with a product, very innovative product. We were doing self-locking borescope plugs. So it looks very complex, but in fact, this is just to expedite the time in maintenance under the wings of the aircraft during the endoscopy, the borescope check. So this is the first product that we have developed, and that was back in 2009. And my strategy has been to diversify those kind of product, some niche product, self-locking product. So this is all those kind of product that give you the opportunity to save time in maintenance and secured all the threaded connection. So we have developed 15 patented product during this period. And from 3 people, we are 140 people right now. From 1 million of turnover, we are doing 22 millions right now. And from 0% of sales outside of France, now we are selling our product 85%, outside of France.
Just what have some of the trends you've seen lately in aircraft maintenance been?
That was an idea from my father. My father was working in a mechanical, very simple subcontractors of mechanical industry. And during the Paris Air Show, which is this big air show in France, the customer that was SNECMA at this time, this is now Safran, came and was looking for a product because the company, mainly the low-cost company, wanted to expedite some operation of maintenance. And this borescope step of maintenance was quite painful because all the borescope plugs was secured with lock wire. And that was very painful to remove the lock wire and add a new one. That was very dangerous to forget also to put the lock wire. So they wanted to find Safran, the OEM, of these engines, that was CFM at this time, wanted to find a solution to have a self-locking borescope system. And this is how everything started. So my father has patented this product, and this is how we entered into this business of aerospace. So not directly connected to the maintenance, let's say, but to the OEM to help them to sell a quicker, faster maintenance to the final customer.
And how have things evolved over the past 10 years? How has the industry changed? Obviously we had the pandemic, but just in general, over the past 10 years, how have you changed and evolved?
In general, we were like a very little startups at the beginning. So we were more a design department, designing some parts. And then the model was like a fabless model. We didn't have any manufacturing on site. And our model was to subcontract all the manufacturing of the product, and we were just doing the final assembly. And very quickly, I understood that having the know-how of how to manufacture our product was a key. So I started to invest in the first machining just one machine in 2010, and we started to do some prototypes, expediting, our research and development process. And very quickly also, I understood that being able to manufacture the first set of product for a new engine was very key also to make sure to deliver on time. So this is how everything started. And day after day, month after month, year after year, we succeed to enter into some big businesses like General Electric, Rolls-Royce, Pratt & Whitney, and things has begun to be serious, very serious, with some big some big volumes to manufacture. And back in 2014, I decided to implement in my company a serial production line. Okay, and at this time, it was very difficult because in France, the industry were not very developed. All the industry were going east of Europe or in the low-cost country. But I decided to implement my machining line in France. And for that, and to be competitive in front of the world, I decided to implement what is today considered as one of the first 4.0 manufacturing system. That means that all the actions with low level, of technicity are made by robots. There is communications between all the machines. Machines that are doing the inspection are able to communicate with the machines that are doing the machining process, and they are able to correct by themselves, all the machining process. And the robots are moving the parts from one machine to the other. So it's quite impressive to see, and we have built that from scratch. And today we are seen as one of the most modern companies in the aerospace in the world.
Yeah, that's really interesting about the 4.0 system. Can you get into a little bit more about just how that works and how you kind of came about it? I know you said you grew it all yourself.
Yeah, I was amazed because my background is more electronical and computers skills. And I jumped into this aerospace industry by fact, okay, because my father passed away and I had to come here. But I kept my eyes of electronical guy and computer IT guys. And I was amazed to see how the industry was working. It was like very old time, it was like old fashioned. And I was amazed to see that when you buy a machine, a brand new machine that costs $500,000 US, and when you buy the last machine of inspection, this 3D machine of inspection, and you put all of them in your workshop, those machines are not able to communicate. Mm-hmm. And I was amazed about that. I was like, how is it possible? It remembered me, the computer from the 90s, right? Mm-hmm. Where to connect a simple mouse to your computer, you had to introduce the driver. Now you don't mind, you just put the USB key and you just put the USB and the mouse is able to communicate with the computer. And my guess is that the industry will be this way in 15 years. But today, this is like the IT world of the 90s. So I decided to create those drivers by myself, as an IT guy. And I was able to create a communication between all those machines. And this is the key, First is create the communication between all those machines. Second is to use a robot to do all the repetitive tasks. Okay, you don't want to use a machinist to do that. And then the third is to use one machinist to operate more machines than usual. And when you have this mixed, it's perfect because it's easier to find some people to work in your company because you need less. It's more easy for the people to learn because they just have to follow what the machines says, let's say. And the beauty of that, and today this is what we are doing, our full machining line is able to work lights out. This is what we say, without any person during the night in full autonomy, which is very good for the competitivity. Okay, so this is how we have created that step by step, understanding step by step what was the key of this process.
And so you come from more of the IT electronic side, like you said, and into aerospace. Did you take in feedback from the aviation industry when you were thinking about things like the 4.0 design or any of the products you offer, or how did you kind of marry your background with aviation?
First we listen our customer a lot. We listen the pain point. Okay, we try to understand. We also try to make them communicate, because when you speak to a big OEM, there is the design team, there is the aftermarket team, that is in front of all the problems created by what the people have designed. But those people do not communicate with each other. So our goal is to create this connection, not only with the machines, but also between the people, trying to understand where are the problems with the aircraft, with the engine. And then once we understand that, we try to come up very fast with a concept of design, to improve what has been designed and make something more sexy, more easy, more quick to operate. Most of the time, it costs more money than the existing part, and then we have to justify that, on the life of the program, they will save money because they don't have to change the part every time. It's more secured. The operation when you do maintenance is quicker, and the global cost of ownership of the product is lower. So this is how we understood the general aviation world. We also understood that to exist into this world right now as a new player, because we were a new player, we had to be the best in terms of quality, in terms of delivery. And this is why for 10 years, JPB is delivering the product 100% on time with zero defect of quality. So that was a big target, and this is not just only words. This is fact. So we have been awarded by Safran for 12 years now as the best supplier of Safran. GE classified every suppliers also, and there is different grades, and the maximum grade is excellent, and we are above this grade because we are role model with GE. So this is how I understood this industry world. This is a very tough world because it's very long. The time to market is very long. When you come with this idea of a new product, and when the times come to get your first cash back, let's say, it's 6 to 7 years. It's very long. But then when you are at this point, it's a very long-term contract. It's some pretty decent volumes also on the new programs like the GTF, like the LEAP from CFM. That means that at this moment, we can invest in a machining line that gives us some competitivity on the market. Okay, and this is at this moment that we mix, both worlds of IT, machining, level of expertise of aerospace. And now, as we have all those people inside the company, we have been able to create much more product and use all this IT skill to upgrade our product. This is the next step.
Yeah, let's get into your products a little bit. I know you mentioned at the beginning borescopes, and we recently talked about your smart washers. What else is it that you're offering?
Yeah, for example, we have patented and developed self-locking fitting, okay, for all the fittings, okay, that secure the pipes connections for oil, gas in the engine. So that was a big change for us because borescope, there is maybe 15 to 20 borescope maximum into the engine. Pipes, there is hundreds of them, 200, 300 per engine. So that was a game changer for us in terms of volumes. And today, and during the pandemics, we have signed the exclusivity, with Pratt & Whitney to equip all the fittings of the GTF family, which is a massive business for the next 10 years. So this is, let's say, our legacy product. There is more than that, okay? But what you need to understand is that every time you have a threaded connection that you need to secure in terms of vibration, in terms of thermal dilatation, that you don't want your two parts to back off, we can find a solution based on the existing product or from scratch because we have an R&D department. And this is really the first pillar of our strategy. This is to develop those self-locking device in the engines, but also outside of the engines on the airplane. And today we are developing also in helicopters, rockets, and other stuff, funny stuff. First pillar. Second pillar of the strategy, let's say we already have some smart products, mechanically speaking smart products, because they are unique in the world. But my goal was to make them smarter. And to make them smarter, we included some sensors, electronic sensors, and communication, protocol communications, wireless communications, okay? And you mentioned the smart washer. This is a new product that we have patented. And this is a washer, a very simple washer that you put between two assemblies, between a bolt, let's say. And this washer will give you the tension in your assembly just by approaching your phone from the washer. Immediately, without any tools. This is the smart washer. And this product, it's coming with much more than a simple washer, which is including, sensors and communication protocol. It's coming also with smart tools, okay? And we are changing the game also in this time. Up to now, every mechanics works with torques. Okay, there is a specific torque of assembly for every bolt. Okay, with the smart washer, we are able to apply the torque and check the tension into the assembly, but we are also able to connect the tool with the washer and to stop the key, to stop the tool when you reach the tension, and you will read the resultant torque. So that's a kind of game changer, I think, in the industry, and we will be able to be much more precise in the assembly thanks to that. And the beauty also of the IT, the electronics, the memory inside, is that we will be able to follow the tension in every single assembly during the life of anything. It can be a rocket, it can be a plane, an helicopter, and that means that inside in the memory, I will be able to say, hey, this is Walker that has assembled this bolt at this time. That was this GPS point, and that was the tension in my assembly. And 3 months later, this is Damien, checking this at Singapore, and this is the torque that this is the tension that we have in the assembly. And we will store every single data, and we will sell also those data to our customer because it will give them a better knowledge of the assembly and the whole system.
Is this something that the OEMs are interested in, and you kind of took that feedback, or is this, you're pioneering this yourself? You think that smart's just the way of the future?
No, it started with a customer, a pain point, let's say. This is a customer that is making helicopters in France, and he said to us that he had, since after an accident, on one of the helicopter, they had to check 12 bolts every 500 hours of running, of the helicopters. Only 12 bolts, but to inspect those 12 bolts, there is 2.5 days of maintenance because they need to remove the 2 engines of the helicopter. They need to remove almost anything on the helicopter, inside and outside, to access to those 12 bolts. Then they have to check independently the torque of the 12 bolts and reassemble everything. And this is very painful. And with our technology, and they started like that. They say, Damien, if you have a solution for us to inspect the torque and the tension in an assembly without any tool, you're the best. And this is how everything started. I said, yes, we will make it. We'll make it happen. So I came back to my company and we started to design. We have did many tests, many iterations, and we found the solution. And this solution now will be mounted into this helicopter this year for our first flight. The time saving is huge, because from 2.5 days, now it's less than 1 hour and a half to check the 12 bolts without removing any engines, nothing.
So maybe looking ahead to the future here, you said earlier that you see kind of the way of the future being this 4.0 system with everything integrated. Just what are your predictions for, say, the next 5-10 years for the industry?
I think we are just at the beginning of this big change of 4.0, machining manufacturer of the future, we say also, depend on the name, that you use. And for me, there is nothing amazing about that. There is nothing special. Factory of the future, for me, will be the factory that will still exist in the future. That's it. And if you want to exist in the future, you have to change your mind. You have to digitalize a lot of things. You have to make it, smarter, quicker, more effective. For one reason, be more productive, be more competitive on the market, because we are competing with the whole world. And I think once you understand that, there is many ways to do that. And something I figured out is that most of the people that run workshop into the world do not check really the efficiency of the workshop. For example, most of the people, even in the small workshop, when you have only 5 to 10 machines, it's not surprising if your 10 machines are working only 60% of their time. 40%, they are just not running, and nobody cares, and nobody knows about that. So what we have decided to launch here is a startup that is called Keyprod, Kayprod, like the key of the production. And we have launched some very, very innovative stuff. So this is a big new world. We have created IoTs and a software.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Aviation Pros podcast. Be sure to visit AviationPros.com for more stories, breaking news, and expert insight from all around the aviation industry.